Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, July 7th, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is balance, peace, harmony comes as I let it flow and let it go. And that's the first thing that came to mind as I was looking at the astro today is that energy of, it's a Tosha Silver quote. And it is basically, let whatever needs to come, and let whatever needs to go, go. We are in flow mode. We have the sun today moving from 15 degrees into 16 degrees. So 15 is that 6 energy, which wants that balance, that peace, that harmony. It needs to find that center, which we'll find in ourselves. And then we move into 16 degrees. That is that 7 energy. So that 7 energy is that of being in the flow, allowing the universe to do its magic, being in the surrender energy. And that's going to be really important. We have the moon actually shifting today from Sagittarius into Capricorn. We are building into this full moon energy. And that's one of the pitfalls of Capricorn energy, is that energy of control versus surrender. So we're really getting the surrender, knowing that this surrender energy is helping us find our center and rise into our personal responsibility. It's letting us rise into how we are called to show up. It's letting us rise into what is true for us rather than falling into all of these old energies. So before we get all deep into that, let's look at how the day starts. I love this connection at the start of the day. And it's like the universe is bringing us twinkle, twinkle, little stars. It is bringing us little moments of shiny. It's bringing us little moments of light to remind us, like, all is well, all is okay. So the first connection is actually Mercury in Leo sextiling Venus in Gemini. So Leo-Gemini is a great connection. It can be very... I have 2 of my major placements of energies are Leo, Gemini. And so it's asking us to connect to fun, connect to play, connect to the shiny, literally connect to the shiny and expand in through that. So I'm actually going to show you my yantra card now because I have the Venus card. I have the card Bliss. It says, take yourself on a date, indulge your senses, romance, art, love. Now, I'm going to show you because I think this is funny. I actually have the dream card in reverse. So, like this wisdom, take yourself on a date, be responsible for your own pleasure right now, for bringing in the fun, for bringing in the shiny. I think that's a really strong, powerful message. This is the foundation of the day with this connection. And like I said, it is this bright spot. So look for something that is going to bring you pleasure, that is going to help you bring you into balance, and it's going to help you with any of this other stuff that's coming up. Again, don't be looking for the other to bring you this fulfillment. Find this fulfillment in and of yourself. Even if it's just, Artist Way. They have you go on artist dates, going on an artist date, taking yourself to an art store, or taking yourself to an art museum, or to the beach, or something. Or just even out for a coffee, just to spend a little bit of time romancing, connecting into yourself. That will support you so much because it's going to stimulate your mind in a pleasurable way. Venus and Gemini, we want to stimulate the mind in a pleasurable way. And then Mercury and Leo, it wants to experience, communicate with the shiny. It wants to communicate and experience and listen to the love that surrounds us in the world. But again, not looking for somebody else to bring that to us. This is a self-made project. We then have the moon finishing up in Sagittarius, connecting to Uranus. This is a trine. This is 28 degrees. 28 degrees is still that process of finding that self-worth, finding that self-balance. So that energy is kind of echoing it. Like, can you be true to yourself? Can you expand yourself? Moon in Sagittarius brings that expansion energy, which I don't know if I mentioned that Mercury-Venus thing was at a 3, which is Sagittarius, which is expansion. So here we have the expansion again. Expand in and through by expanding your senses, by getting out and finding something that resonates with you, that's going to help you get into a vibration that's in alignment with your higher vibration in and through yourself. So then we have the moon shifting into Capricorn, 10:44 a.m. Pacific time. So Like I said, this is leading us into this energy. That Capricorn moon may feel very serious on top of these other lighter connections. It's okay. This is a really big, powerful full moon. Now, I want to remind you that as the moon builds into fullness, this takes us into a place of really feeling into our emotional energy. So we are going to be feeling the emotions. We're going to be feeling the feels coming up. This full moon is going to be conjunct Pluto. So both the moon and Pluto can attune us to shadow energy. So everything that we come into contact with may not be shiny. It may not be light. Remember the shiny to bring you into balance, and then show up. Be responsible for any of the heaviness that is coming through. Only you can really show up for this and help yourself through this. Now today may feel interesting. I mentioned this yesterday. We have Pluto, actually today, perihelion, which means it's at its place in its orbit where it's closest to the sun. So, Sun and Pluto are like lighting each other up. Sun, Moon, Pluto, it's like, wow, it's this very strong concoction of planetary energies. Ultimately, this is what it's heading is for. Breakthrough. And look at this. This is solar plexus. It's the willpower. It's our inner power. We're attuning to our inner power by not selling ourselves short, by giving it away and putting somebody else in charge of our pleasure. We're coming into power by being like, I know how to find pleasure within myself. Awareness. We have this awareness. This is peeling through layers. So this moon, it's very powerful. It may bring up some stuff that's tough to face within us. Take that responsibility for it. Be like, okay, how do I respond in a way that's true to me? How do I respond in a way that's true to my light? And ultimately, how do I bring understanding to this energy? I love the 3 questions. What's the joy in this situation? What's the joy in this heavy thing that's coming up? What's the lesson in this thing? And what's the good in it? The joy, the lesson, the good. If you keep focusing on that, you are going to be able to completely shift through these things and peel through these layers. I'm not saying that it may not be a challenge, because sometimes when you're breaking through brick walls, sometimes that can feel like a challenge. I am feeling the challenge here at my house. I live with my mom, and it is her birthday this weekend, and she just lit a vacuum cleaner on fire. She did not take a match to it, but she kept using one that has been warning her, like, I'm not feeling good, and so it lit on fire. So there will be the challenges. What's the joy? What's the good? What's the lesson? Well, the joy and the good is like, we can get rid of this vacuum cleaner because she now turned the hose on it, and we will not use this again. So we don't have to worry about future fires from it. What's the lesson? Listen. When something says that it's not working, listen to it and then see what the universe wants to bring you. Listen for that understanding energy. Listen. There is always something good working for us in and through this. Be willing to listen. The final card I have is going with the flow, and that is this energy. If you are in control, this is going to be a really tough weekend for you. If you can be in the flow and allow the feelings to come up, this is going to be a very feeling full moon. If you allow yourself to be with those shadow energies that come up, hold understanding for any of these shadows that come up, this is going to be a major transformational space. Ultimately, that is the energy that I get with Pluto, is that energy of transformation for empowerment. But you've got to be willing to show up and face the stuff. It is Phoenix energy. There will be the Phoenix process that's taking us through. But keep finding those light. Find the joy. Bring yourself into that joy. Speaking of joy, goes so well with this bliss card. I'm going to remind you, take yourself on a date. Indulge your senses. Romance, art, love. Even if it's just a singular bubble bath. Something nice for yourself. The card that I have from the Power... What is this card deck called? The Power of Love by James Van Praagh is the joy card. Delight in the love of life and bring a spirit of fun to all you do. This will be the foundation that will help take you through any of these challenges this weekend. And I just want to say, if you are somebody who's not feeling this in a challenging way, congratulations. That's so awesome. And there are those who do not always feel these things in a challenging way. The universe knows what it's doing. It finds a way to balance us. It's balancing us. So you are carrying those high vibrations for those of us who are feeling it. So thank you for carrying those high vibrations. And still, Bring yourself into that bliss to help all of us, to balance out all of us who are feeling the challenge in and through these energies. One way or another, we are all reaching for empowerment. And one way or another, Pluto is that energy. It's the darkest dark and the lightest light. And maybe you've processed enough of that shadow for now that you are really able to hold that light. So thank you to those who are able to hold that light. That being said, that is it for today. If you want to buy a reading, you can go buy a reading at GaiaBlooming.com. And I will see you tomorrow with the full moon scope. Namaste.